What's up, guys? Welcome to Annex Training's Accountability 101 talk. What you say versus what you do. When it comes to fitness, a lot of your success can boil down to, do you talk the talk or do you walk the walk? This is all part of psychology, something called Buffer's framework, working on intention versus intervention, which is essentially the gap between what you know you should be doing and what you are actually doing. How big is that gap of, I know I should be going to the gym versus you actually not going to the gym? If it's a massive gap, it's going to be harder to find success in regards to fitness or nutrition. To tighten that gap, all we simply have to do is back up what we say we're doing with what we actually are doing. The gap will get smaller. One of the things that will actually make the gap broader is if we learn all of these things about fitness, about nutrition, our education is expanding, our knowledge is expanding. If we know all of the things that we have to do and we are only doing one of those individual things, that gap gets actually larger. Another framework to take into consideration is your values, espoused values versus actual values. Now, this is the gap between what you say you value and your behaviors that back up that value. If you say that your health and fitness is important to you, but you don't go to the gym and you don't eat healthy, then your values are pretty far apart from one another. This is where the whole practice what you preach comes into play. Talking about a general system. So fitness has a lot of different components that we can focus on, that we can learn about. But the entire system is only as good as individual parts. The only as good as your reliability to each of these parts. The more complicated the system, the less reliable it becomes. The more pieces there are to the puzzle, the less reliable the system becomes, because it's harder to fit everything into one complete system. Now, the most important thing when it comes to the system is to remove any tiny piece to make the system function better. So let's just take into consideration we have a light bulb, we have one wire, and a light switch. If I turn the light switch on and the light bulb doesn't light up, one of two things can be a problem. Since the light switch flipped on, it's either the wire or the bulb. I can replace the bulb. If it still doesn't turn on, I replace the wire. It's simple. But if we take this entire system that's down here with all of these wires and all of these tubes and all of these switches, if I flip one switch on and the light bulb doesn't turn on, I have a lot of different pieces that I have to get in line for the system to become more reliable. Putting numbers behind this entire thought process may help us understand it a little bit better. So I'm going to take that example of the technology side of things. So let's say you get your electric bill and you only pay it 90% of the time. Now, you know when you go to switch your lights on, it's not going to turn on 100% of the time because you're not paying your bills on time all of the time, 100% of the time. So 90% of the time, when we turn the lights on, they turn on because 90% of the time we're paying the bill. That gives us an 81% expected result. If we take 90% times 90%, it gives us 81%. Now let's add one more component into that equation. So 90% of the time we pay our bill, 90% of the time we actually change light bulbs in the house. Now 90% of the time we flip the switch and it turns on. There's so many different components here. Is it a light bulb? Is it because we didn't pay the electric bill? Or is it because we didn't flip the switch? All of these things are individual components that could be wrong. So we take 90% times 90% times 90%. Now the expected result is only 72% that the lights are going to turn on. We add one more component to that, and it only gives us a 63% outcome. I know a lot of those numbers thrown at you all at one time can be hard to understand. So let's put this into more of the realm into fitness. We know and we understand every component we add into a program or into a system decreases the reliability that we're going to get our expected results. So humanizing this. With the example before, the human component was us paying our bills. But that's not that human, right? So on a daily basis, we feel different. Different things happen throughout the day that are unexpected. Our reliability is not 100% ever. So let's bring in that human component into a program that you follow in a gym. Say that program has a 90% effectiveness rate. It's a pretty solid program to be following. Now, with the human reliability and our typical behavior, we only have about 60% of reliability. So if we're following a program that's 90% effective, and 60% of the time we actually make it into the gym, that means we're only going to get 54% of our expected results from that really solid program. That's less than half. That's an F if we really think about it. So even if we take that program, we cater it to you, we adapt it to you, we fix it so every single thing is just catered 100% to you, and you still come 60% of the time, you're only going to get 60% of the outcomes. That's still an F. That's still failing. So if we just take your behaviors and we improve those to 70%, so now you come to the gym 70% of the time that you say that you're going to, and we follow that 90% program, you're going to improve your results to 63%, which is better than either of those two options anyway. So we can see that it's not about changing the plan, it's about changing your behaviors according to that plan. If we can change your behaviors, your results are going to improve. Now let's take this and put it in the realms of nutrition. So let's say that we figure out your meal plan, we look at your most recent Fit3D scan, we look at your goals, and we put together a 90 to 99.999% perfect plan for you. If you're only sticking to that perfect plan 4 out of 7 days of the week, or 57% of that week, you can actually only expect 51% of the possible results you're aiming for, even if the plan is perfect. So we reiterate the fact of changing your behaviors, not changing the perfect plan, since there's so many variables with your behaviors, is actually going to get you the best results. And this is what I hear all the time. People eat great during the week because it's a structured schedule. You have to go to work. You have to go to the gym. It's harder for you to kind of vary the meals that you're getting. But on the weekends, things get thrown out the window, especially when you go out for drinks with clients on Friday. Then you guys have brunch on Saturday with your friends. You go out drinking on Saturday, and you wake up hungover, and you have to eat fatty foods in order for yourself to feel better. And then we start the whole routine back on Monday. So adding to that even, now we have to think about how far off you go from your plan. If you simply go off by 100, 200 calories, it's not going to make that much a difference. But if you're off by 1,000, 2,000 calories off from drinking and eating whatever you want, it's really going to get you further away from those results. So how do you succeed in this? How do you succeed in the fitness industry? How do you succeed in the fitness world? How do you succeed with your nutrition? First things first, remove as many variables as possible so you can stick to the program the best that you can. Not the best that someone else thinks that you should be able to do, but literally the best way that you can stick to the program. If it's coming to the gym 3 times a week and getting in that program 3 times a week, then do only 3 times a week. Don't aim for 5, and it's just a recipe for disaster. Once you've removed those variables, once you're coming 3 times a week, now we modify the behavior. After we removed all of those variables, we've taken out all the things that have kind of gotten us further away from success, and we modify our behavior towards those variables that we can absolutely achieve. So coming to the gym 3 times a week, just like I said, even with these meal plans, simply eating exactly what's on the meal plan and don't allow for any other variety, don't allow for any other variation. Then and only then can we modify the plan if necessary. So if you're coming to the gym 3 times a week, you're eating to your nutrition plan, and we're not finding the results that we're getting, we know that we simply need to change the plan because your behaviors are on point. Here's the pyramid that we talk about with this. The bottom of the pyramid is the most important. We have to make sure that we're getting in enough food, and we have to make sure that we're getting into the gym enough. Whatever enough is for you. 2 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever that is, we need to get that down to a T. We remove everything else except that enough and volume. Once we have that, now we add in the balance component. Okay, so when we're talking about food, if we're getting in enough, how are we getting that food in now? So now we look at the macros, we look at proteins, carbs, fats, we look at all of those things so we can really hone in on not only getting in the calories, but the calories in the right way. When it comes to fitness, what does our fitness plan look like? Are we simply only doing cardio? Are we getting on a little mix of both? Are we lifting heavy enough, all of those things. Now we have to make sure that the plans are balanced. Now, when we take into consideration we're getting enough, all of that quantity is in the right balance. Now we think about the structure of the plan. So now we're thinking, okay, your goal is to build lean muscle mass. Great. Follow this program that is supposed to help you put on lean muscle mass. Not just simply any old program coming into the gym 3 times a week. We're adding in the structure of a good, set, solid program. This is where meal plans come in because it's the same exact way. We're not just telling you you have to get an X amount of protein or X amount of carbs. We're saying you need to eat this plan and only this plan. Once those 3 variables are taken into consideration, now we can add in some novelty. Now we can add in these kind of one-off things where, all right, you want to add in a little Olympic lifting. You want to do some more strength training with a barbell. Now we can add that novelty in because you're getting in the base of what you're supposed to be doing. You're actually doing the exact same things that you say that you're doing. Now we add complexity in. So this is where you would see people that want to try intermittent fasting. They want to try keto. They want to try a bodybuilding competition. Whatever the complex object or item may be, we can add that in, but only if all of that bottom portion of the pyramid is taken into consideration. So now what? Now we're doing everything right. We started from the bottom. We added on all of these complex layers. Now we can add in more variables if you want. If we perfected everything that we say that we're going to perfect, keep that perfection and add little things on. The longer that you stay committed to your plan, committed to the things that you say that you're going to do, the less these variations are going to affect you. So let's say that 50 weeks out of the year, you're doing exactly what you say that you're going to do. You're going to the gym, you're eating right, you're following a meal plan, and then you go on a 2-week vacation. Do you think just throwing out your nutrition and your fitness during that period of time is going to affect you as much as if you were only following those meal plans for 30 weeks out of the year? Probably not. So those that follow the plan, those that can stay as strict as possible, they can enjoy things a little bit better without having to worry about them falling off the wagon. We bring this slide back up because it's the most important part of this accountability aspect. It's not about changing the plan, it's about changing your behaviors. So don't worry about the plan, don't worry about your meal plan, change your behaviors so you can stay accountable to those things. And if you can stay accountable, you will find so much more success out of everything that you say that you're going to do in regards to fitness, nutrition, and even life.